Slate. Harder. There you go. Gaastra, take 18. Slate. Very well done.
Okay, Carlo, loosen up a bit. Pete, how do you really feel about the lifestyle you lead?
Totally stoked.
Action.
Okay, well, let's start off. You tell me just why you come to this planet.
Basically, we've come here for waves to find uncrowded surf. People go, how can you possibly be into car racing and driving cars? They're so different from windsurfing. Windsurfing's so natural and wonderful, and car racing's so dirty and horrible and mechanical. And I say, yeah, maybe part of the attraction is the opposite. But at the same time, the feelings of doing both well are really similar. Being one with your equipment, windsurfing, where you don't even have to think about what you're doing. As you're in one move, you're thinking already about the next move. It's a natural flow. And the better I get and the longer I've been doing it, the more the exciting, adrenaline-oriented aspects become more and more exciting. Life in Hawaii, it basically revolves around the beach, because to us, that's really everything. That's where everything is done. I mean, we sail every day at the beach, we surf every day. Sometimes we just go down there and it's kind of a good meeting place for everybody. So, you know, it's a kind of lifestyle that lends itself to flexibility, and it's I don't know, I think it's a pretty healthy lifestyle. It kind of keeps your mind going, and it doesn't lock you into a framework like a system of a 9 to 5. That's me. It sounds great. No crowd, no fax machine, no slalom boards, just wave sailing and fun and nothing else. Bring a couple wave boards and a couple surfboards, and that's basically why we went to Fiji.
You know, we wanted to sidestep from the whole, normal routine of a professional sailor. Kind of bring it back to the reason why we were wave sailors in the first place, just the good life, good wind, good waves, and coming to a little deserted island in Fiji kind of brings it all back to that.
This is a Radwave hat, a Radwave mustache, and a Radwave beard.
Excellent!
What do you think?
Yeah. Bula, how are you this morning?
Bula!
Bula.
How's it? How you doing?
Oh, not bad.
How's the view? See any waves from up there?
So if this tree doesn't break, how strong is it?
No problem.
On the reef?
Yeah,
How about those two brown ones?
Oh, dude. Just got that fish. Big wave. Big wave. Yeah. Big wave, yeah. From Namotu.
Yeah, today.
Today.
really pretty light, huh? Just
The setup
offshore.
here is pretty good though. It's got like a corner reef like this, kind of a wrapping swell. And you take off on the outside and you can ride all the way in. You got to kick out just on the inside before you hit the inside
Before you
rocks.
hit the dry reef there.
Yeah.
It's insane, like straight behind us here is like where the swell is coming from, and it's wrapping all the way around this side of the island where this guy's surfing over here. And it's actually going in exactly the opposite direction of the parent swell. If you go to the other side of the island, it's coming in this way. It's just one continuous reef that goes all the way around, and the wave just kind of bites and wraps, and you can have one wave that just peels for so far.
The reef is kind of wild too, huh? You get like the full brain coral, then you get this really sharp like finger coral.
That stuff's nasty. I think the wave sailing potential in Fiji is beyond really anything that I've sailed in before. Just the raw, sort of the raw conditions, you know, being as far out in the middle of nowhere as the waves are, the reef being as live and shallow and radical as it is, and the consistency of the surf the majority of the season, and consistency of the trade winds. Make it probably the best wave sailing place in the world if you get it at the right time.
Yeah, it's a bit like the wave in Fiji in the sense that it's a port tack wave. It's front side left. For me, I'm goofy foot, and that's just ideal, you know. You really let your instincts start working for you. You don't have to think about what you want to do as much, you know. I've probably caught 1 million waves front side left surfing, you know, just as a goofy foot. So when I get on my windsurfer and I'm riding a wave, it feels like I don't even have a sail in my hands. And that's one of the joys of diamond head.
I've been sailing Diamond Head since about, 78, since the longboard days. And got really into it through 82, 83, 84, the early wave sailing days when our boards went down to like 7 feet. And Pete was there from the very beginning. He was actually the first guy on Oahu that came over with a 7-foot board. I had gone off to Europe for 2 months, came back, and here Pete was shredding on this little tiny thing, and I just went, whoa. And immediately went and made myself a little board. And from then we were just kind of the boys. We'd be there every day. That was back when pros were underworked and overpaid, and we had 4 or 5 events to do a year, and the rest of the time we were home sailing Diamond Head every day. It's always a lot of fun when you have somebody who's a good enough friend and a good enough sailor, and who you know his style and he knows your style enough that you can catch waves together and do figure eights and, you know, come inches from the guy's nose, bottom turning around each other and stuff. Not many more people that you trust to actually have their nose coming 3 inches from your head on a bottom turn. It's fun.
I've been sailing at Diamond Head, you know, for 2 months this summer, and it's been kind of a steady progression, this pain in my leg, after I had this bad wipeout earlier in the spring, where I went over the falls in the foot strap, and I started a tear in my tendons, and I kept sailing all summer long. And you know, first I went to Fiji, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to sail, but it was just okay. And so I went to Diamond Head, and I kept sailing on it, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And so I knew I was just going to have to just say, okay, here's my last day. I'm going to go check into the hospital and finally get it done. And I hate going under the knife. And but you know, it's something that just has to be done. You need to get tuned up every once in a while. Normally this time of year in Maui, it gets really crowded. You know, the show comes to town and it just gets crazy. You know, out in the water it gets really crowded. There's a lot of people trying to get on the same wave, and at the same time, it's pretty spectacular, especially if you're sitting on the beach watching, like I've been lately.
I go out sailing and kind of think about how I'm going to feel at the end of the day. If I go out during the day and don't do so much, just relax and don't go really wild, I don't feel that good at the end of the day. So I think the crazier you go, the better your sailing is. You don't enjoy it when you're out there because you're too scared, but but at the end of the day, when you come in and you've done a really high forward or you've gone for some really high off the lips on big waves, you feel pretty good.
At this point for me, jumping is by far the most fun. I can ride waves all day at home and maybe only get 5 or 6 good jumps if the wind's not that great. But it's those 5 or 6 jumps that I go there for.
Sometimes you're scared, and when you're scared, you normally hurt yourself. So you try and avoid being scared and just get angry and go for it. And you find the other thing is, the more you go for it, the higher you go, the more radical you go, but also the less chance there is of you hurting yourself. So I think it's not so much anger, but just motivation. You want to go higher than the last time, and higher than the guy next to you too.
The average days tend to all sort of slide together now. And the good days are the ones where there's some blood pumping. What we're doing is really the only way you can do it. You sail man on man and you test the sail against the other guy, and then you swap the equipment over and you try to see which is the fastest sailor. Usually the fastest sailor is pretty outstanding. Make it faster. That's the bottom line. It's just creating that feeling of going fast in the sail and having a comfortable feeling. The sail has got to be working with the board, and it's got to be lifting the board at the right angle, and you've got to have the right bottom end when you come out of the jibe, and you've got to have top end control, and all these factors you're trying to get into one sail, and it's real difficult to incorporate everything you really want to do in the sail into one thing. We're trying to get big jumps. There were some big sets coming through, and I'm just trying to get up as high as I can. And he was getting a bit of air, but I was trying to get higher than him. Yeah, you kind of got to don't worry about fear, and generally the guy with the biggest balls is going to go for the highest jumps.
You know, you put your brain in the pocket and everything's fine. No worries.
Today's a good day because it kind of tests your big wave riding skills. It's not the big perfect day. It's kind of the big ugly gnarly day, and it's pretty much victory at sea. A lot of the wave riding isn't real precise, like down the line wave riding. It's almost more like survival, and we like these kind of days.
I think as you do anything more, you've got to take it a little further to keep having that fun. So it's nice, you know, to have the chance to get out in big surf because it keeps things exciting. It allows us to keep pushing ourselves, and it gives that bit of a fear factor to the whole program, which is important for me to stay excited about doing it. You know, get the adrenaline going. So I like to sail big waves whenever possible. The bigger, the better.
It's a different kind of sailing. I think when you go out there, you're going out there not just to slash the wave and shred like we normally say it. It's kind of to be a part of nature. You're in a different world when you're out there. I mean, these things are big. You're stuck in a trough with 20 feet behind you, 20 feet in front of you. You can't see the land half the time. No one can see you either. And it's scary, but it's what you're after, I think.
Either go for it or she run away from it, and a lot of times, you know, either way you'll still get nailed. If you try to run away from it, you won't be going fast enough, the thing will overtake you. Or if you try to make it over it and your timing's off, you'll get to the top and it'll just throw you over the falls. So there's definitely a fear factor out there. I don't think you ever get used to it. You're just driving it and really trying to keep everything in control. So it's a real thinking kind of day. It's not a day where you can just hang it out and cut loose. You really got to use your brain out there today.
If you're stupid, it can be dangerous, or if you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that's fun, you know, it's calculated danger. You know what you're getting into before you get out there. As long as you're not stupid, it's pretty safe. But at least you have the option of getting in trouble if you want to.
it's just great to be in big surf, you know. It's the power and the movement and the wind around you, and it's really scary. And when you get back off the water on the beach, I think that's when you feel best, actually.
Basically, I just wanted to get out and get as many waves as possible. For sure, when you're out there, it's better. Everything's better when you do it. I'm not one of these guys that likes to come back from the beach and go, hey, God, was that good? Did you see me? I go out, I sail, I pack up, and I leave.
I don't think a big day like today is old hat to anybody. And I tell you, it was something else. My adrenaline level was just hitting 10 on the Richter scale.